Good morning.
Good morning.
It is Saturday.
May 16th.
I hope you guys had an amazing week. We are staring down a weekend. We love the weekends here.
We're getting ready to start packing. We have boxes. Our house is a mess.
I'm telling you though, before I had the opportunity, the blessing of my life to be a youth pastor, I was a teacher, which was also immensely rewarding. But I always had that 9 to 5 kind of job. Man, I value our weekends. And now my wife has a 9 to 5.
Perfect
I'm a youth
banker's
pastor,
hours.
so I'm all over the place.
Adam works 24/7.
I gotta stay fluid.
Gotta be available. It's good. We love it.
I love it though.
Amen.
My name is Adam. I'm the youth pastor at Crossroads Church. This is my beautiful wife, Sydney. That little screaming
Mimi.
That little screaming, probably 20-pound baby.
Looks like a sack of potatoes.
We have a doctor's appointment on Monday, so we're interested to see. We had to cancel his last doctor's appointment because it was in the middle of all of this isolation stuff. So we're excited to see how much our little bag of spuds weighs.
How many potatoes he weighs? I say at least 20.
Are you talking about me, Daddy?
I say at least 20.
We have been reading every morning from Jesus Calling by Sarah Young. It is an amazing morning devotional book. 365 devotionals. We love it. Start your day off right with God. There is no other way. Use that as momentum to carry you through the day.
That's right.
Today is May 16th, though. If you have yours, I encourage you to follow along.
Proceed.
And it reads, I am your Lord. Seek me as friend and lover of your soul. But remember that I am also King of Kings, sovereign over all. You can make some plans as you gaze into the day that stretches out before you. But you need to hold those plans tentatively, anticipating that I may have other ideas. The most important thing to determine is what to do right now. Instead of scanning the horizon of your life, looking for things that need to be done, concentrate on the task before you and the one who never leaves your side. Let everything else fade into the background. This will unclutter your mind, allowing me to occupy more and more of your consciousness. Trust me to show what to do when you have finished what you are doing now. That's a tongue twister. I got through it okay, I think.
Yes.
I will guide you step by step as you bend your will to mine. Thus, you stay close to me on the path of peace. I can't wait to get into this because this has really been speaking to my heart lately. I love it. There are 2 verses underneath from which the context was drawn for our devotional, which read, Many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. Man, that's good. Proverbs chapter 19, verse 21. To shine on those living in darkness and in the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the path of peace. Luke chapter 1, verse 79.
This is perfect for going into the weekend. I feel like because, once the weekend comes, we're like, let's check off our list. We always talk about lists. Let's get all this stuff done. And I do it too, but it's... There you go.
Oh, thank you.
I do it too. This weekend we're really hoping to get a solid chunk of our house packed. But we do always have to remember to leave room for God, pray constantly about everything. Not only just, your lists and your packing, but pray constantly. So you're always making sure that you're accomplishing and working towards His will, not your own.
This is really speaking to my heart right now, like I said, because as we are approaching, us, like Crossroads Church, especially the youth, as we are approaching a reopen date, it's still a week and a half away, but I find myself my mind can run on endlessly for the things that I'm anticipating having to do. And if I allow myself, I can literally feel the anxiety start to build up. And the moment that I notice that is like my internal notice. That is like God telling me to slow down that anxiety. And as soon as I feel that, it's like an indicator. Yep. I immediately have to stop
what you're
doing. And this is just such like tangible, doable advice.
Yes.
What are you supposed to be doing right now?
Yes.
Today. You know, that's all that matters. Sometimes we want to think ourselves as the do-all, be-all, one-stop shop. Like we can do anything, and we put all of this onto our shoulders, onto our plate. Mm-hmm. And all that God cares about is what should you be doing right now. And if you are doing that whilst seeking God and doing it to the best of your ability, that's all that you can ask of yourself.
Yep. It's so simple.
But man, it is an easy thing to do. And, you know, I know that anxiety, especially in today's world, culture, society, it runs rampant sometimes. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of people are finding themselves being burdened with this affliction. And I know for me personally, at least, a lot of my anxiety comes when I try to make plans too far into the future, and the factors and the variables that go along with those plans start to just hurt my head. And I think that this is very, very good advice to try and live in the moment. Mm-hmm. Not even to avoid anxiety, but I mean, that's just a good mantra for life. Live in the moment. Don't be so focused on what's going to happen tomorrow that you miss what's happening today.
Amen. And I know when I get too far ahead and I start making too many plans, like I've done it 1,000 times already with this move. I'm planning where things are going to go in the new house, what we're going to do the day after we move. Like I'm way far ahead right. And not a single box has been packed. You know what I mean?
She's envisioning where things are going.
Yes. But if I keep doing that, as I go along and start packing boxes, God's will comes into play as it should, but I already have this stuff down the line down here in my head, and it starts to get cluttered really fast, and I start to feel overwhelmed really fast, whereas if I just do right now, today, right in my, grabbable future, it's not going to get overwhelming. It's not going to be this like, oh my gosh, I have so much that I'm thinking about now, because I'm not dealing with stuff that's a month down the road. I'm not dealing with what day am I going to send Cox out to turn on the internet.
And I would even argue that if you are too focused on the future, how can you possibly be focused on right now?
It just takes more of your brain away, you know, and then you're not giving your full...
It's wasted energy. I have this verse highlighted because it really, man, it speaks to my heart. The Proverbs chapter 19, verse 21. Many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. That
whatever
is,
you want, but
just right there, cuts through it. Because man and woman, obviously, though, and I think it comes back to the need to control. To try and plan. You feel like you have a sense of control over the situation, over your life. Mm-hmm. But, in reality, if you think that you have ultimate control, you're really just fooling yourself. No. And again, the danger in planning too much is that you leave no room for God to move in as He sees fit. Yep. And to leave no room for God is to say that your plan is always correct and always the best course for your life, when that is a prideful thing that we can't possibly know. I wish I knew that every course I was on was the absolute best, but that's why I leave room. I try to leave room for the Holy Spirit to move in me, to let me know when I'm making wrong decisions, when I'm focusing or putting my energies into the wrong basket, if you will.
Life's not meant to be perfect. God didn't intend for our lives to be smooth sailing all the way through. There's many reasons for that, most of which we're not going to know on this side of life. And I've accepted that, so it's a whole lot easier for me when things don't quite go as planned, or when God intervenes and is like, this is not what I want you to do, and that's what I had in my head, and that's what I had my heart set on. It's a lot easier to accept that once you have made the decision consciously that you're going to give the will over to God, that you accept that this is God's will, not mine. This is God's plan, not mine, and follow it. And when you take that resistance out, it's It's just a lot
And,
easier
you know,
to accept the bumps that come.
Yes.
The changes.
I will see the beautiful thing about us and God is it is a relationship in every sense of the word.
Mhm.
And just like any relationship you may have on earth, it grows, you know, and
Yep.
it strengthens. And so if you're hearing this right now and you have a tendency to plan far into the future and then let that upset you if you find that it can't go that way, me personally, I find myself praying all the time during the day. I stop and I simply pray that, Jesus, I trust you. Please reveal to me what is important to you right now. That's it. And it just kind of refocuses me into the present.
Yes.
And allows me to put all of my energy into that.
One
like
thing,
this right here.
One thing that just came to mind to me was that, you know, when I was going through some of the hardest times in my life and really trying to dig myself out of a hole that I had created, was you tend to, and I was far away from God, I tended to look so far in the future as to what I wanted, and I wanted to get my life back on track, but those things were so far away, and I had to focus on that day.
What can I do today?
What can I do today? And how can I be better today than I was yesterday? And if I'm just a little bit better today, that was an accomplish. Because if I started thinking too far in advance, like how to get my whole life back on track and how to be a good person again, I would look like a failure every single day. Because I hadn't met this unattainable goal. I hadn't gotten to the finish line when I'm just like 3 steps away from the start.
Yeah.
You know, so I encourage you, if you're in a dark place right now, if you're in a place where you're far away from the finish line, 1 step at a time.
And it starts now.
Right now. You can start
tomorrow.
literally any second, right now.
And I try to give my kids memorable things and encouragements. And it used to sound so cheesy to me, but when you think about it, it's absolutely true. You know, even a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a
1
single step. But you gotta take the step.
And it's hard. I mean, that first step is hard because that 1 step symbolizes you're acknowledging that you're on a journey and you're somewhere where you don't want to be. And that's kind of a hard acknowledgement to make when you're in it. I know it was for me. It was hard to say, I'm not where I want to be. And I've gotten myself here, you know, so you just got to take the first step. Trust that God, pray to God that He shows you the next step, because He won't give you too much of a journey at a time. He won't ever give you too much you can handle. I really like when we can get to remind our students that if you're going through something right now, it's because God knows you can handle it.
Yes. And also, you know, if you are on the right path, which I pray you all are, but you want to improve somewhere, I always tell my kids, you know, like 1 degree change
gets you so far.
Creates a world space
After a
over
while,
the long run. So, you know, we start with small steps, but I encourage you, do a 10-second prayer if you feel yourself becoming anxious because of future plans. Mm-hmm. Pray that God reveal to you what's important right now to Him, and yes. I think it'll do wonders. Prayer is so powerful, and it is. Our God is a God of miracles, and us praying to Him to help us in our day to be better in seeking His will and accomplishing that, He absolutely wants to help us with that. Yes. You know, and He loves to, when we offer up our spiritual sacrifices of prayer every day. So,
and after that first step, the second one's easier than the first. The third one's easier than the second. Those little steps, I know for me,
until they become habit.
Yep, and you're running.
Yes.
Just like our child is right now. Jinx.
We love you guys. We hope you have a very blessed Saturday. We're so excited. Tomorrow is Sunday.
Yay.
We love you guys. Stay safe out there. God bless.